2, 1. Well, hello, Lisa. This is Sharon on the West Coast.
Hello, Sharon. This is Lisa on the East Coast. How are you today?
I'm just awesome. So you know what that means, right?
I think it means that we are about to engage in another episode of Coast
to Coast Beauty. I had an awesome week, and thinking about, what we're talking about this week in terms of reconciling and celebrating shutting down 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting, huh? So how's your week though? Let's talk about let's get those out the way before we go roaming around and everything.
Oh, well, you know what? I was doing a little bit of the same thing. I was doing some planning for 2018, and I know it sounds like I've been planning forever, but since next year my goals are so much bigger than they have been in the past, I need to do a little extra planning. And so one part of that planning was looking back on 2017. Who knew, right? And so I saw some interesting things when I looked back, and I can't wait to share.
Yeah, that's what I was saying last week, is that it seems to me that we put our little things in order for the new year, but we don't take the time to look back and really celebrate what we accomplished, how further along we are, and give ourselves, pat on the back for what we have accomplished, and look at how what we didn't accomplish, what might have needed to be tweaked and coasted along a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have yours out ready to go. What you're gonna I'm calling it reconciling.
My 2017 date book. Woo, boy, does it tell a story. Did I see someone that said hi just a minute ago?
Yes, Stacy. I popped her up for a minute. She said, "Hello, lady."
Hi, Stacy. Thanks for joining us.
Definitely.
Okay. I really appreciate you. Stacy is very loyal. I really appreciate that. She's here more often than not. She is here when we are live. So totally appreciate you for that. Big hug, big hug, and many kisses coming your way, Stacy. Okay. Oh my goodness. So let's get into what I found when I look back on my 2017 date book. I will say that I start every year with these grandiose plans for what I want to see accomplish in the coming year. And last year, I came into January, like on fire, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I was ready to go. And so a week into January, got a medical diagnosis that just set me back on my tailbones, kind of speak. And so I spent 3 months in medical procedures and tests and such before having surgery in March. And so that derailed my plans. And then the recovery period that was supposed to be 2 months ended up being over double that. So with that being said, I spent the whole year thinking, I didn't really accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. But I was amazed at the story that my date book told. And I'm going to share that with you a little bit. So
I know that to not be true, because I've been on this little journey with you. So I know for sure that there's been some massive things that have happened that you probably never envisioned.
Never envisioned. And like I said, lots of gains that I hadn't even noticed if I hadn't gone back and had this reflective time this past week. A few bumps, but the bumps were not nearly as big as they seem like it. Sometimes a speed bump can seem like a mountain when you're the one in it. So, can't see the forest for the trees, so to speak. So I want to go through my date book a little bit and just flip from month to month and show you. So if you can see this, I'm not trying to show you everything that's in it, but as you can see, my date book for January I jumped off with it. Pretty busy. And then February, even though I had gotten the diagnosis in January, look at my February date book. It's not whiteout. So I will say this, there's no whiteout in there. It's still a full date book in February. And then March, right there, it says that I had surgery on that date. But if you look at the whole date book, there's no whiteout in there. So even preparing for one of the biggest medical procedures of my life went on. And even in April, the month after, when I was homebound, look at my date book. Isn't that awesome? I'm like, oh my God, you didn't shut down. You didn't throw in the towel. And so May. And so I just went through and there and looked, and I was celebrating. June, my husband and I took a vacation that I documented on Facebook and then lost it when my account was closed down. And July. And then I'm going through this to show you something. August was when I finally came out from under my medical fog, and I thought, oh, now we're going to get going. And what month did we launch Coast to Coast Beauty?
September 15th.
September. So we were doing a lot of planning in August.
Yeah.
And in September, no whiteout, ladies. And look at October, though. October was my month with some whiteout. You want to know why? I woke up on October 1st and my Facebook page was gone. The one that had been building for years and years and years just disappeared. And so you do see some, that's the only month in there you see some white. But look what happened in October and November. Right back up. Oh my God. When I saw that, I just had to pat myself on the back. I'm like, girl, you did not let anything stop you, and slowed you down maybe a little bit, but nothing stopped you. So just that overview of my year at a glance was really affirming for me. It really helped me to feel good about what I accomplished this year and be kind to myself on what I didn't accomplish. I had a conversation with a girlfriend this morning, Cherie, and I was saying, and she called me, she said, what you doing? I said, over here beating myself up. And she said, remember what Peter said to Jesus, be kind to yourself, Lord. She says, be kind to yourself. So that was so cute for me. And she's right. I need to be kinder to myself and not take the bumps so hard and so literally, and to celebrate the journey, bumps and all. And so that's what I saw, an overview of what I saw in my year at a glance. Okay. So.
Wow, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing, because one of the things that happened is, you got the diagnosis, and it was a blessing actually, because it let you know you had something wrong and you could fix it. I mean, it didn't get to where it could be so overwhelming. Oh, hi, Lynn. I've got to get your little ornaments out to you. She's been a winner with lipstick therapy. Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Congratulations, Lynn.
Yeah, I've got to get them over to you today or tomorrow. We got to work that out for sure. So thank you for being here. But what happened is, we had talked about the online stuff, and I had been, gung-ho about doing my business totally online, and you weren't there. No. And I thought, I think I'm going to try one more time to suggest this to her, because I knew, because of that change, it was going to make you think about some things in a different light.
It did.
Yes. And so I'm so happy that we're at this place where we're at, because now we have the talk show. Both of us have things going on individually that are much bigger and grander than we ever thought.
Yes.
and have them right there, just ready to grow more and more. But when I do what I call reconciling my year, is I get out my phone, because it has pictures. The pictures are going to give me a lot of information about things that I just totally forgot I even was involved in. I mean, I had gotten involved with this organization out here called the Kennedy Foundation, Kennedy Austin Foundation, and it's a group of a mother who lost her son, and she set up this foundation to honor her son and to respect other mothers who have lost their children in violence and so forth. And she's like a megastar in the community because she just gives back so much. And that was really a blessing in my life. And then I had some business things going on that kind of went away, Fragrance Friday being one of them. But I had so many pictures from Fragrance Friday to show me how it had actually just blossomed into this awesome thing that I can, know that I need to support and continue into the next year. So I also look at my journaling, what I'm thinking and what I was feeling. I remember seeing the note, check on Lisa, gently mention online.
And you were gentle. You absolutely were gentle.
Well, you're not one of those chicks you broke up on, so
no, because I'll swing back.
Yes, you will.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you all that's here watching. We love the fact that you're here with us live, and we really appreciate our replay viewers. Our replay viewers, they are awesome, but it's always great to have somebody here that's interacting with us too. That is such a blessing, and we really appreciate you.
Yes.
So I get my calendar, I get my journal, I get my phone, and I go back and make notes on things that this happened and that happened, and I could have done this better and so forth. So there was a lot of things that I really, had to celebrate. I became a great grandmother. It was such a surprise. It went from, we found out that she was pregnant in April and the baby's here in June. That was a roller coaster for the whole family. We're like, whoa, what happened? I mean, medical technology is not as good as it thinks it is. It still have a way to go.
There is always something that can slip through the cracks.
Yeah. And it just definitely did. And I don't talk about it too much on here, but for me, medical issues are kind of an ongoing thing. So I kind of have to swing and ride with the waves on that. But, all in all, I do it. I wouldn't want to pull out my calendar and show you because I actually operate from a calendar like this big from that and my phone. But yeah, having the organization to be able to go back and see what you did and celebrate and appreciate and see where you're going to tweak it and where you're going to go with it next year. Because I think that is a major step that we just don't do. We get all caught in our head planning for New Year, but let's celebrate what we did accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What I totally agree, and I totally get it. And I see there sometimes, it's easier to give advice than it is to take it yourself. And sometimes I'm easier and gentler on other people than I am on myself. I'm way harder on myself. So it is a blessing to be connected to women like you and other women who remind me not to be so hard on myself. That being said, I think that some of us need to hear this. And so please hear my heart before you hear my words. Some of us are not hard enough on ourselves. Over the years, And this year has been no different. I have mentored and coached and worked with women who tend to let themselves off the hook a little too much, a little too often, a little too easy. And this year, as I was dealing with not only what did I have my medical diagnosis, but, you know, my husband had 2 surgeries. He was going to physical therapy twice a week, occupational therapy twice a week, and that on top of my medical issues, and 2 orthopedic doctors, okay, that were on opposite ends of Atlanta, one 93 miles away from where we live. So, so when I looked at all of that on my date book, and I saw the therapies and the pain meds and the recovery, and then I look at my date book and see how somehow may not have done it the way that I originally thought I was going to do it, but I did get some great things accomplished. And then I have women that I mentor that'll tell me, I didn't work this week because I had cramps, or I didn't work this month because, you know, my mom is ill and I have to take her to the doctor. Or you know, my dog is going through some things, and you know, my dog, you know, is house trained, but she's going through some things, so she's making little boo-boos all over the house, and I'm just really stressed out about it. And I mean, the list just goes on and on. And so I would encourage, you know, our listeners to find somewhere in the middle. I mean, yes, there are times when you can't work. There are times when you will choose not to work. But if you look at your date book, your cell phone, whatever it is you keep your records in, and there is more excuses in there than there is accomplishments, then it's time to take a good look at the person in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself about what it is that you really want and what it is that you're really doing to get what you want. So that's my preaching moment for today.
Well, you know, they always talk about what is your why. If your why is big enough, it's going to make you do what you need to do to accomplish your goals. But, you know, I think more than that, our why is wonderful. Our why is the reason. But we have to check ourselves on what we're saying to ourselves, because that is our biggest enemy. I call it TIS. Well, I got that from my spiritual leader. It's thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. And those are all our doing, our making, and our progress producer or our downfall, whatever we allow it to be. But yeah, you have to check those negative thoughts about who you are, who you aren't, who you can be and who you can't be, and what you want and what you don't want in your life. You have to check those thoughts and say, no, I'm not thinking that. I'm not going to even entertain that. I put it like this. You need to get a receptionist for your brain and have her stop those thoughts at the door. Stop them when they first come in. Yeah, you're going to get negative thoughts. That's just part of life, but you don't have to entertain them. You don't have to set the table for them and ask them to sit down
and stay a while. Okay, take them right out of there.
I challenge them immediately and put in the positive parts of what it's saying to you, because along with any negative, there's always a positive.
Yeah,
so that's
And surround yourself with women who will tell you the truth. Or as Cherie and I say, we heard this phrase a long time ago. Some people be smiling in your face and they won't even tell you have broccoli in your teeth. So surround yourself with people who will say, hey, do you know you have broccoli in your teeth? Or, hey, do you know you're having a pity party? Or, hey, have you thought about this way? Or have you thought about that way? And, hey, this is what I see. And this is what I hear. And this is what I notice. So, yeah. It will help you. But you, even though you surround yourself with those people, it's not their responsibility. You have to take responsibility for it yourself. And they're just there as a little check and balances to help you. Sometimes everybody slips and you need a little reminder. And, if two together, you can hold each other up. But if it's only one person, if you fall, who's going to help you up? So you need to surround yourself with those people.
Right. And that's one thing I appreciate. My check and balance is my daughter. I mean, she's the one that will say to me, "Did you look in the mirror before you left home?" She's very bold and very straightforward, and has always been that way. I mean, it wasn't so appreciated when she was a child, but as an adult, I knew that was going to be a quality that I respect in her. And I personally appreciate having somebody that's going to say, "No, that doesn't look like, no, Mom, no, we're not going out like that."
Or that doesn't sound like you. Yeah, that doesn't sound like you. So, for me, as I said, I do have my 2018 date book, and I am transferring some things that were on my list for this year that I didn't accomplish. I am moving some of those forward. However, there are some things that were on my list that I didn't accomplish that I'm just scratching off totally, because I have grown to another place, and I realized those things will no longer serve me in the journey that I'm on right now. And so that's another good reason why you look back at what you did. There'll be a few things that you want to move forward with you, and there'll be some things that you realize, hey, it's a good thing I didn't do that, because it wouldn't have taken me to where I see that I can go now. Right. So another piece of advice that I highly recommend. Okay, so what's the next part, Ms. Sharon? And once you look back at 2017, then what do you do to start to project forward into 2018? And by the way, this is something that I practice with my team in the direct sales beauty company that I'm with. And we do something called a monthly projection. And and I know big businesses do this all the time. They have to. There's no way around it. Big businesses do a 5-year projection, sometimes 10. They do a 2-year, a year, and then they do quarterly projections. But I also do monthly, and that is to map out where I would like to see me grow. And your projection needs to include some growth. If you're still standing here in December 2017, if you haven't made very much progress since December 2016, then that right there is a red beacon just going off, telling you that something needs to be changed. And if you don't know what it is, and you don't know even if you know what it is, if you don't know how to change it, then that right there is saying, get a mentor, get a coach. Okay. And so how are we going to build our projections for 2018? I know you and I have already started talking about that for Coast to Coast Beauty.
Right. We have some things in mind, and we will share that before we end today. But your question was, what do you do when what's the next step?
Yes.
And we've actually talked about that as we've gone along. The next step is crossing out things that no longer are of value, highlighting the things that continue to be of value, and look at why they were not accomplished. And the best part is celebrating the things that you did accomplish, because that is our motivator, that yes, we have made some changes in our lives, and we have accomplished this and the other, and we, giving ourselves the permission to be proud of ourselves, and let ourselves off the hook that, this didn't happen. Okay, but actually when you look at it, it's not really on my agenda anymore. And changing them to whatever is going to meet your current needs, instead of trying to keep focusing on something that's no longer of importance in your life. For you, personally, spiritually, business, family, whatever. All of those things are going to change as you grow, and as you find other things that some things that weren't even on your agenda, like Coast to Coast was not on our agenda the first of the year.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Okay. And, I launched a coaching business that wasn't on my agenda at the first of the year. So we had some big things to happen that were not on the agenda. So one of the lessons that I'm doing for my 2018 projection is talking about not only what do you want to do, but leave wiggle room for things that you never foresaw to come in. And it's okay. And to take a look at it quarterly to see were there some opportunities that came up in the last quarter that you did not foresee at all when you were doing your planning. And can you make these opportunities fit in with what you already have? What do you need to take off the table, if anything? Or can it just smooth in there without you taking something off? It is a really good idea to do this. If you're serious about being an entrepreneur, even if you're serious about anything, relationships, like you said, your spirituality, like you said, your physical health. For instance, I started with my husband going to the gym 3 days a week. Okay. And I took pictures every time we went. I only put them on Facebook once, but I took pictures every time we went so that I have a photo journal of the journey. Okay. So those kind of things, you want to take note of and you want to document in some form or fashion.
Exactly.
I will say this: when a child is a toddler and they are starting to learn to walk, they pull themselves up, they fall many times, but we don't tell them to stop. And we celebrate when they pull themselves up and can stand there wobbly. We clap and we kiss them and we celebrate them, and they get that warm feeling and they keep going. And then when they finally learn to stand up and take a couple of steps, even if it's 2 steps before they fall, boy, we have a fit. It's like the biggest celebration. And then all along the way, we celebrate a child's accomplishment, from rolling over to crawling to walking to running and so on. And yet we criticize ourselves for our accomplishments. We celebrate the falls and the bumps. And when I say celebrate, we dwell on them.
Right.
And oh my goodness, I would encourage us to just, understand that the fall downs are part of the process, and that soon, whatever endeavor you're falling down in, you'll be crawling and then walking and then running in any area of your life.
Right. Exactly. And that is the point, is that we get so fixated on the negative that we just do not, pat ourselves on the back. We don't give ourselves time to recuperate. We don't give ourselves time to evaluate. We just, we failed. And guess what? Failures are not always bad. Yeah. Failures are something you can learn from. And that's really awesome to be able to look at it that way, where you can turn it around and make it be something that's going to benefit you in a different way. We never know. They say hindsight is 20/20. That actually is the essence of celebrating and reconciling your last year, is hindsight. You have 20/20 vision when you have hindsight involved, but we still will fail to look at what place did those negative things, what was the positive outcome of those negative things.
Mm-hmm. Even if it was just a lesson learned. Okay. And we're glad you're finding some value in this, Lynn. Thanks for your comments. Yeah, to not dwell takes a lot of work. Person back. I mean, yeah.
Because that's that's thought, ideas, and suggestions that's going to be just constantly negatively putting in there. So you put your receptionist to work. No, you couldn't come in here. You can't stay.
I love those metaphors. I like that idea. Thank you. All right. So, any final thoughts?
Well, we're looking forward to launching. Do you want to talk about that?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, hello, Sherry. our beautiful friend.
Hi,
We will be doing coast to coast vision experience starting the first Friday in January. Next week this week we're closing down 2000. Next week we're going to pop open what we have envisioned for 2018, and that's going to start off with us doing vision boards. And I believe we have it mapped out how we're going to do that, but we'll present the whole grand plan next week so that we have it all tailored to perfection. Not perfection, but pretty close.
And I know Cherie is on it. I know Cherie. She has been in some of my live vision board events that I usually do on a yearly basis. And sometimes it's been her and her daughters, her whole family has come over, and we have a vision board party. And but now our fans and our loved ones are kind of spread all over the country now, so we can't have a physical location for it, but we are going to have an online version that I think is going to be well worth your time. I think you're going to get a lot of value from it. Okay. Yes. So look forward, be with us next week so you can hear more about it. And we're going to launch it the first Friday in January, as Sharon said.
Right. So we want to talk about some things that we're going to be continuing, which is, Lisa's favorite thing.
We might tweak it a little, but we're going to continue it.
So we're going to still be doing our what's in your bag, but we're going to look at how to tweak that so that we can get more ladies involved. We got stuff we want to give away to you guys.
What's it? Who knew, right?
We got all this stuff to give away and nobody's sending in their pictures. So it's, send in your pictures in your bag. What is in your bag that's unusual? But we will look at how to tweak that so that we can get the most value for you guys. And that's what we're here about. That's what it's all about, is providing value to our community, which that involves you and everyone else that shows up. And we'll be having a hard launch that we'll be working on.
Second quarter, probably.
Yeah, that we'll be working on, because we've got some people that have been paying attention that we didn't even know was paying attention, that is going to propel us into some different areas and so forth. So it's just been an excellent ride, this beginning of this third quarter, right? Well, yeah, September, October, November.
Right, the last 2 quarters.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we really appreciate each and every one of you that join us and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we have come to a another successful end of Coast to Coast Beauty. Yes. We appreciate you. We value you. Each and every one of you that popped on live. I didn't say hello to my grandma. I did pop her up there, but she's here. She's always here every week. And we love you, replay viewers. We always say, we know that we come on at a time that most of our audience is at work. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting over the course of the week to see our viewerships grow to like unreal numbers that we could never have imagined. So we know that we have a following, and we really appreciate that. And all of you that joined us live, be here next week when we tell you all about the vision board and how you can get involved. And thank you, Stacey. That's so nice of you. We enjoy it. It is a labor of love. It truly is. We have so much fun with each other, and then that just translates to the show. So we really have fun.
It does. Yes.
But we still want your input on things that you want to talk about.
Yes, we've gotten some requests, and we're still taking requests.
Yeah. we want this to be something that feeds you. We don't want it to just be a, a little snack. We want it to be a whole meal.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, as we close down this episode of Coast to
Coast Beauty,
I'm Sharon Davis on the West Coast.
and I am Lisa Washington on the East Coast. And together we would like to say goodbye until next week, and we're going to kiss you out.
That's our ending. Bye, ladies. Have a great weekend, a great week, and enjoy your families this week.